Hello everyone and welcome. Yes, my name is Arrowfire and welcome back to another episode of Look Out and Shout. One thing I was asked recently is that what actually do the names of my videos on my channel actually mean? So a quick run through for you all. You probably worked this out anyway by now. Look Out and Shout is really what I'm shouting about. They're my review videos. So I'm shouting about a certain topic that I'm reviewing, be it a TV series, a comic or an action figure. All talk, no shock, they're my discussion topics. I talk about something in that, either something that's been discussed elsewhere or what is hot topic at the time. I've got my top 5, that should be pretty self-explanatory. I have as well the other side of the matrix, that's a line taken from Beast Wars, which is kind of I also refer to them as what if videos. I like saying in a different timeline, what if this happens? Something that we are familiar with, but what if it went a bit differently? And then I've got a couple of other special videos like who is the strongest Transformer, who is the most important Transformer, kind of one-off ones that I do. But that's a brief run through as to why my videos are called what they are. And so today we will be reviewing Fanstoys Dunerunner FT-43, their version of Beachcomber. Now, this would be the part of the show where I tell you to go onto showzstore.com and remember to enter the code FILE1. However, you can still do that. Please still do that. It's really helpful. Thank you. But this was sent to me by somebody else and I want to give them a bit of a shout out. So in the UK, there is a distributor called Primetime Toys, and that is the site that sent this figure to me. Graham in particular from there was very kind as to give me this figure. I do highly recommend you go check out their website for all your best third-party figures on there, as well as other figures as well on their website. I'll put a link in the comments below, but they've got a great array of stuff and they will be at the conventions with TF Nation in the UK coming up. I do highly recommend you go and check this out on their website. They're a great shop with some amazing support, so I cannot thank them enough for sending this figure to me. And straight away on the inside, we got the traditional Fanstoys polystyrene. On the box is fairly standard. We have product shots with him alongside Warpath, so we're going down the mini bots route. Inside comes his accessories, which we'll go through in some more detail. We also come with the instructions, as well as a collector's card. Pretty standard. Let's get into the figure itself. And here he is in his robot mode, and yeah, he's a nice little dude. He's a very characteristic looking beachcomber. And okay, he's a little bit on the small side. This is my first experience of a mini bots from Fanstoys, but I like him. I think he has that very cheeky charm to him. I think the sculpting looks pretty on point, and he's got fair weight to him. I do like how he looks. It's very much G1 look. Fanstoys get the head sculpts definitely right. But if you're a fan of Beachcomber and the limited runs that he had in the cartoon, this is very much a toon accurate Beachcomber from really the Gold Lagoon episode. That's really what you want, and that is what he is. He's a bit on the small side for a mini bot, and with this being my first experience of a mini bot, I guess the others will feel the same. It doesn't have that heftness, that denseness, maybe not all of the points of articulation because he's a mini bot. He's very small in stature. We're talking really Voyager class at best. So nevertheless, he is here and he's perfectly fine. I do like the characteristic. I think the blue pops fairly well, even though this might not be Fanstoys' best version of paint applied. Let's get in for a closer look. So straight away to pick him up, you can see he's pretty good. He's got very nice facial characteristics. The silver visor is nice and reflective. Articulation is pretty good. Somewhat standard, I guess you'd say. Does have fair rotation, open and close fingers, not individual fingers. Waist rotation, which is nice, quite stiff, but I don't think that's really a bad thing when your figures are only this big. Ankle tilt as well, which is always nice. And I don't think you've really got heavy ratchets at all. It's all friction, but very tight at the same time. Bit of an ab crunch, but that's more for transformation. So maybe a bit limited, but otherwise doing what he needs to do. Okay, on to comparisons. Now this one surprises me. Here he is alongside Make Toys Jazz, a sort of typical carbot, masterpiece carbot. And okay, Beachcomber's smaller, and this is Make Toys, not Fanstoys, but That's actually quite a little bit closer than I would like. I would wonder, not having the Fanstoys Jive version of Jazz, maybe it's a bit taller and therefore representative, but I would have thought for matching up with a Masterpiece Carbot that there would be a bit more of a height difference in that. I would expect Jazz to be taller or Beachcomber smaller, but that's how they look side by side. Here he is alongside Iceman, their version of Air Raid, both are Fanstoys figures and a considerable size difference. Here he is alongside Fanstoys Chomp, their version of Skullcruncher, and for completeness here he is alongside MP-44, Takara Optimus Prime. Accessory wise, he comes with a few things. First of all, he comes with his gun, which is very small, and now he can do his best 007 pose. And he also comes with these. And these are more or less shim pads, which will make part of the vehicle mode as well. Now, you don't have to apply them, you can just have him as a solid blue, but this is what he'll look like with them on. He's very reflective, very shiny, and I guess it breaks up the blue a little bit. And with this, he'll also come with 3 alternative heads to the one he's already got, so you are spoilt for choice. First off, we have a very kind of serious face on, almost a bit macabre, sad. Quite the reverse now, we have a very happy face, and he's particularly happy there. It's almost got a reminiscent of a Marvel Comics look. And this one's quite cool. I don't know if you can see it. He's got like some computer vision goggles. I'll see if I can put some photos up of this one. He like goes into a scanning mode. That's quite a different look. And obviously the fairly happy-go-lucky cool cat kind of face that he's wearing at the moment. So yeah, plenty of head choices to choose from. Alright, let's get this cool cat transformed up, shall we? And here he is in his Dune buggy mode. And yep, that is very much a buggy. That is a blue buggy. He's pretty much Beachcomber in his alt mode, and that's more or less the size of it. Very dinky, a fine transformation, annoying in a couple of elements. I think where I find with it is that leg transformations on Masterpiece figures are just generally tiring on most bot modes, whether it's a vehicle mode, a beast, a plane, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of origami involved. There's a lot of stuff that folds away. Very good engineering, but has to unravel out. And yeah, getting the front headlights tucked out from inside the legs was, yeah, a little tricky. But there's only so many steps to it because it's not that big of a bot. You think it would be straightforward, and it more or less is. The biggest problem I have here, and you can see a couple of bits, is there's tabbing in issues. There's some tolerances, at least on my copy, that not everything wants to go in flush. But there he is anyway. Rubber tyres, which is again, big plus from me. And yeah, he looks quite cool. I like the little cockpit. I like the engine. And it is, for all intents and purposes, a fairly simple transformation. Let's get in for a closer look. So I'll quickly show you the obvious tabbing in one. It's right at the front here, which is really the shin pads that fold out. Well, I don't know if they're shin pads, but they fold out from inside of the leg. This side tabs in, this side I push it in, but then as soon as I let go, it brings back out again. So that's annoying. It's right at the front and does kind of disrupt the image somewhat. I've got a bit of issue with these, I don't know what you would call them there. Again, parts of the hip skirts, I think, that fold out, and to create the flat edge, I can't get them to go fully flush down, and it does affect the rolling tolerance. Now, it all rolls, all wheels roll, which is good. There's ground clearance, but again, you can hear the scuffing as well. So it's not, the wheels don't come down, so it's not completely flush to the ground, and that I always think is a bit of a shame. It's a shame that you can't knock the wheels down to give a bit more additional clearance. But yeah, otherwise it's not too bad. Just a few tolerance issues here and there during transformation. A lot of stuff, with it being fairly weighty, fairly die-cast, you have to really kind of strangle it into position a bit. These front headlights and faux suspension, not real suspension, they want to move. So it actually doesn't take much for that to go forward with the wheel going forward, which is showing kind of the stiction. There's a bit of tolerance issues with this figure in that it's sturdy, but it's also just a little bit too stiff. Now, one accessory I didn't show you is, as you can see, he's got his 2 shin pads here, but there is a noticeable line all the way through for where the legs are really folded up alongside one another. What you do also get is this other piece, and it's a solid piece which actually goes in place. And should you want to, that's what he looks like in naked version, and that's what he looks like with it on. However, what I've just noticed is that this is, again, not fully flush. The tolerance won't bite on it, with it being one piece across two split legs. If I try to push this down, you can see there's a gap. That's it flush, and it's springing straight back up. Because it's trying to fit on to two ever so slightly misaligned hinges, perhaps. Maybe the pegs aren't so sharp to bite onto the plastic. That's annoying. That is a shame, because it will create a very clear image, if you like, a solid image. But now not only have I got this tabbing issue on the front peg, I can't get this silver bit down. I'm actually better with the two individual pegs in place. That's a bit of a shame. And he does have some weapon storage. There's a groove where his gun can sit at the back of the seats, where he just doesn't feel like being a pacifist anymore. But that's nice, a bit of weapon storage there. And for comparisons, here he is alongside a Masterpiece vehicle with Masterpiece Sunstreaker. Probably about right in that scale. Here he is alongside Make Toys' version of Navigant, their version of Streetwise, and different scale ranges, but here he is alongside the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Battle Trap. Okay, we got Masterpiece and Chug scale, but that's how they look side by side. So what are my final thoughts on Dunerunner Beachy Boy? I do like it for what it is, but I think when I heard about this at the time, people were saying it didn't quite feel as premium. It didn't quite feel like Fanstoys' best, and I thought, maybe, maybe not, maybe it's subjective, but I do think around this time, Fanstoys have taken the foot off the gas a little bit. If you look at their sound wave, their acoustic wave, it has been widely touted as not as premium, and maybe this is the same. People were saying that the paint, particularly the blue, isn't as good. I don't mind the blue, I think it's okay, but it doesn't feel as premium as some of their other figures do. Now, this is my first experience of a mini-bot from Fanstoys, and maybe that's to play with it. Maybe it's the fact it's smaller pieces, less to play with, and how really complicated and complex can you make Beachcomber? He's not really big at all. But I think the biggest miss for me is some of the tolerances. He won't line up. You saw when I was going through the vehicle review that bits won't line up in transformation. Even some bit underneath now keeps wanting to come loose. And the bit at the front, these things are enough to be annoying. And that's gone through a quality check. There's a sticker. That's annoying. That is a shame. But I do like it for what it is. It is a very G1 Masterpiece scale, as close as it can be, Beachcomber. Not many other offerings are out there. There's an X-Transport offering. This possibly beats that. Okay, that comes with some nice little animal figurines, which is very a la his character. But I think this is okay. This is fine. I don't necessarily feel it's worth what Fanstoys are asking for. That's kind of one thing that put me off the price of this, being around £120, £130 for a fairly small bot. He is quite small. But if you're into G1, and if you're into the mini bots, and if you're into the particular Fanstoys range, then this has got to be one of the better ones out there. This is really what you want to see from a Beachcomber. I love the kind of, that'd be what you call light piping, I suppose, of the lights. If you can see it there, light comes through there, you can see this sort of this piercing blue coming through the back and shining through like the lights are on. There's little things like the detail on the cockpit, the chrome is very nice, the rubber tyres I'm a big fan of, but then the tolerances let it down. I like the robot mode. I'm surprised of how close it scales to a Masterpiece car bot. That's one thing I am surprised at. So there's only so much you can do. You can't make it chug scale, it's got to be of a Masterpiece size, and I think it's probably the best version out there for a Beachcomber as things stand. And based on this, I give this 3 Rodimus star badges. It's just the tolerances that let it down, and maybe it doesn't feel as high quality. I accept you can only do what you can do with a mini bot. Now, I've got Powerglide on pre-order, so I'll be interested to see how that kind of sums up to this. That looks fairly big in bot mode, and it looks fairly big in jet mode as well. So it'd be interesting to have 2 mini bots side by side. But I do like him. I'm very glad I've got him. A big shout out again to Primetime Toys for sending this over to me. He's kind of one of my little favourites in that he's someone that I've got a good affiliation with. And now I'm very glad I've got him in my collection. I put him alongside my Dinobots just to be like, he's looking after nature, or rather they're looking after him. And there we go. That is my review of FT-43 Fanstoys Dunerunner, their version of a Beachcomber. I'll stick some photos up at the end. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button, because I will see you on the next one.